Welcome to the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. I am your host, David Riddle. We have a special guest for you tonight. This guy was one of the earliest listeners to the podcast way back in 2020. I'm sure he did a lot of laughing at us, but it's all good because he's also the only guy to ever wear a Casual Shooters Podcast shooting jersey at a Nationals, other than me and the other two founders. He's a carry optics specialist, sixth at the 2025 World Shoot, and a silver medalist there as well. If you would, join me in welcoming back to the show from the Great White Northeast, Mr. Jay Beal. How you doing, Jay?
Thanks for having me back on.
You're welcome. You said it was snowing up there, but what's the temperature?
Oh, I think it warmed up to snow. It's like 30. So
that's not too shabby.
Not too bad.
Yeah. I see you're back to posting Lego stuff, which I love. I always love the Lego stuff.
Yeah, I got to space it out a little bit, a few months before posts or in between.
When do we get the barefoot running videos?
Oh, I had to retire from that during the winter because it's too damaging to the toes.
Right. So I'm wondering at what point is it April time-ish frame here we're looking at, or?
Yeah, it depends.
Okay.
Depends how cold it is.
If you've thought out.
Exactly.
or if you're still running on a glacier.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, lots to catch up on. Now, you yourself have been involved with a podcast.
Yeah.
In the recent past.
The Hit Factor podcast, I've been, and as well as the other co-hosts have been slacking a bit, but we're still involved. It'll come back.
Okay. How are you enjoying that?
It's been good. I enjoy hanging out with and talking to all the other guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen you as much of a talker, so this is a different side of you.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for me, so it means I should probably do it.
Right. Now, what was this decision to grow that massive mustache?
So there are some really good benefits. So like wintertime, it keeps the mouth warm. And then in the summertime, and it matches, it keeps your lips from getting sunburnt.
Okay, so you only have to put chapstick on the lower lip then.
Well, and if the mustache has enough overhang, your shade zone on the lower lip.
And you look like you've got some pretty good overhang there. That's pretty solid.
It's enough.
You said you couldn't remember when last time you were on. I couldn't remember. I had to look it up. July of 24, but a lot has happened since then.
Yeah.
I mean, you went to World Shoot. So I want to start there because what was that whole process? Once you got the confirmation from USPSA that you were going to be a team member, what did it look like from there until the time you got on the airplane to actually fly to South Africa?
So I knew that I had made the team right about after Carry Optics Nationals in 2024. So a decent amount of prep time. I think I even knew kind of what I needed to do going into Carry Optics Nationals that year, and then kind of exceeding that, then I solidly put myself in the second spot behind Jacob on the team. And then in between then and the World Shoot, there was a lot of prep, like a lot of loading ammo, a lot of thinking about what I was going to do in training, and a lot of thinking about what my goals were going into the match as well.
The World Shoot goals?
Yeah, World Shoot.
Interesting. Now, why would your goals change?
Well, so, I mean, my goals as far as what I want to do with my performance at the World Shoot, and kind of knowing that it's a longer match, knowing who I'm going to be competing against, and knowing, like, I mean, you got Eric Raffel in the top in the division,
Right.
Edsel Gino, all the guys uh, that were there at 24 nationals for carry optics. Um, and so getting an idea of where I am in relation to them, what I can do to change that, and then also thinking about the team goal, and being like a really solid score for the team.
All
So
right. So
yeah.
no, okay. Let me just write that one down because I want to get back to that. But I don't want to upset the flow here. So you knew like a year basically and a few months. So about 15 months ahead of time, you already knew you were on the team, you were a team member, you knew you were going.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have official confirmation from the USPSA, but Jay Slater and you were posting about the what the
The
team
points
scores
and
were, and I can go back and
yeah.
add up my points for the qualification matches. And so I knew I was in a good position, and it was enough spread between you know the first two, Jacob and I, and then third and fourth. And I think third and fourth ended up shooting production. So I think no, Mason and Nils shot production, obviously, and then that pulled up the other guys.
Right. That pulled up 5 and 6 up
Yep.
onto the team. Now, how did that obviously when you go into nationals, CO nationals in 2025, your focus is that match,
Yeah.
you know, but also in the back of your head, just you're only like 3 months away from World Shoot, which is everybody's focus that year. Um, did that play any part into what you did at CO Nats, or was that just a strictly I'm focused on this match
For 2025.
for 2025? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was for sure in the back of all of our minds. I felt a lot more pressure at that match than other nationals.
Wow.
Uh, just knowing that it's leading up to the World Shoot, and so it was a really good learning match for me. I mean, I think I probably felt more pressure at that match than I did at World Shoot, especially in the first stage.
At CO Nats, that first stage?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
and
So
it's
how did you
relatively
deal with
evident
that?
in the Shooting USA video as well. uh, I don't think that was my best performance on stage one. And
Okay. So how did you deal with that when at the end of the stage?
I mean, at the end of the stage, I think it was just like, all right, like this is a little bit of a rough start. Again, it's like a long match, so I'm gonna get back with my program, kind of get myself settled in, and back on program, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
It's really
So I was
hard to
going to
do
say
on,
it's
yeah,
as you were talking in my mind, I'm like, that's easier said than done. I mean,
yeah. So I
when
turned
I
it around a little bit, on day one. Um, there was a couple of stages I did really well on, and I think I had a stage win on day one as well. Uh, and so I was feeling pretty good going into day two and stuff. But knowing, I put myself in a little bit of a hole
okay, but
for
you
that
didn't let
match.
that affect obviously the rest of your day. You were able to at least
No,
eventually put it behind you.
yeah, I put it behind me, and then day two had its own struggles. I think, well, I know I forgot a target on a stage, and
Oh, wow.
so then I dug myself even further into a hole, uh, and then day three, I had to realize that I should shoot like myself and really focus up, and I finished strong enough to place whatever I did at that match. I think it was sixth.
All right, were you happy with the overall performance or
I mean, no.
I didn't think so.
uh, but I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about pressure management, and I learned a lot about what what risk I'm at if I make errors in a stage, and how I need to fall back on how I programmed the stage, like on the sequence. I think what initially caused me to forget a target was a makeup on steel. where that flustered me mentally, and then I skipped past one target. And
Okay.
so there was a lot more after that match that I put into programming and kind of testing myself on that kind of thing in my training and in matches.
How long had it been since you had missed a target or forgotten a target at a match?
I think it was my first time.
I was going to say, I mean, if you had, I don't remember it.
I don't remember it.
So,
Maybe I mean, I it would have it not at a major match for sure. Uh,
okay.
I don't think I ever forgot one at a local match either.
Okay.
And so
I
that
feel like
was
it's almost impossible to forget one at a local match. Even, you just take the
it's hard to
time to,
do.
yeah, it is hard to do. At a major match is the only place I've ever forgotten a target. And oddly enough, it was on a reshoot.
Mm,
So I had a better time, a better score, a better everything on my first run with a piece of steel that didn't fall with a hit in the scoring ring. So I was like, I'll just take the miss. And they're like, no, 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 you need to challenge it. So I was like, okay, it was like my first or second, it was early on in my career. And so I did, and they came up and they shot it and it didn't fall. And they're like, oh, you get a reshoot. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm ready. Let's go now. And missed an entire array.
yeah.
So it's like the first stage just ruined my entire match out of,
Yeah.
out of contention right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. It was because that was 30 or 60. I forget if it was a 2 or 4 array. It was bad.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah,
Those things hurt.
they do.
Now, so when you got back home then after Optics Nationals, which was in Utah last year, wasn't it?
No, it was in Ohio again.
Okay, so it was Race Gun that was in Utah.
Yes.
So when you got back home, what was your after that performance? What was your focus at that point?
I mean, I knew I had to fix a lot of my, like error correction. And so there was a lot of time spent in training still pushing really hard and making errors, but then really paying attention to what I do after an error is made
Mm.
and making sure that I get back onto what am supposed to be doing instead of letting that kind of derail things. Uh, and so there was a lot of time spent there. There was a lot of time spent in dry fire and kind of separate from training, rehearsing stages and practicing that skill. Because I think I took it for granted a little bit, just that I'm here at a match and I can do this already, and I don't have to work to do it. And so there was a little bit of complacency in that aspect.
Wow, I would have never thought of that being an area that anybody would be complacent in. And not, I don't mean that in a bad way, just like, but anybody could fall into that trap is what I'm getting at,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
I didn't think it was something that would ever come up. That I
Yeah.
needed to work on, and maybe I didn't need to work on it. Maybe it's just some like random thing that happened. But to ignore it would be kind of silly on my part.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's asking for a disaster.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
especially you're thinking, well, we're going into the world shoot in a few months, and I don't want to let down my team and do something dumb like that. Uh, and so I think I probably let that. I mean, I surely did after some more reflection. I let that affect a little bit of how I shot World Shoot as well. Um,
and
which
that's what
which
I wrote down because I want to get to that later because I know that has to affect things. But
yeah.
I don't want to get there yet. So at what point then? So you came back, you're doing your training, you're making errors still. So you're still trying to progress, you're making errors and correcting them. At what point did you stop making errors and you're like, okay, I just need to practice and not push it and get things rock solid?
Uh I never stopped in this
Mm.
route. I think probably the last 3 weeks I shot a lot. I think I shot almost 10,000 rounds, um, and I was shooting just a lot very quickly, a lot of close shooting, a lot of things that initially would make me kind of nervous, which is like fast close shooting, which is what we saw at World Shoot as well. Um, so I never really, I mean, I don't usually change my training to get ready for a match in that kind of sense. I'll change how I'm thinking prior to the match, but I won't change like my aggression and the speed that I'm shooting. Just for me. I think I used to do that,
Mm.
but not anymore.
10,000 rounds in 3 weeks. That, knowing your background and your past and how you got to where you are, that's a lot of ammunition compared to what Jay used to do.
Yeah. I mean, this
So,
whole year was a lot more ammunition than what I'm used to.
so
Uh,
how did that feel during those 3 weeks shooting that much ammo?
oh, I love it. It's amazing. I mean, I was shooting 2 sessions a day, like 400 rounds twice a day. Um, and then even then, like earlier in the year, I was going out quite a lot, pretty much every day for like since the weather was good that year.
What do you think is your maximum amount of ammunition you can shoot and stay focused to get good training?
Uh, Probably a couple hundred rounds and pretty quickly, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, couple hundred rounds.
I
Um,
asked that because Maria Gushina, when I had her on here, world's greatest female shooter in the practical sports, she said she can only do about 250 rounds at a time because then she starts mentally losing focus and the training's not as good. So now when she said that, I was like, oh, I had never even considered that. That's
that's
one of
why,
those things that I ask.
yeah, that's why the sessions were split up into two in a day because,
Makes sense.
well, I can then load my mags in between the sessions and I don't have to be out in the heat loading, but also that mental break.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the tiring part. It's not the physical, it's the mental aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I wanted to get some of the tiring effect from live fire as well, like to really beat up on my hands and really kind of figure out what I need to do to grip the pistol right and do all that. In the volume of shooting, like every single day, 2 sessions a day, did it. Uh, all the recoil started to feel very normal. Like I loved it so much, and I can't wait to kind of do similar things again. So.
4 more years.
I know. I mean, this year I'm gonna, because I like that feeling of shooting a lot. And I'm not gonna shoot the same volume this year, but I'm gonna condense my training closer to the matches that I care about instead of spreading it out through the whole year.
Mm,
So
okay.
I'll be more dry fire focused for the first part of the year for sure, and then I'll let myself shoot as much as I want
So
in a
how
shorter
far
amount.
out from nationals will you start the heavy live fire training?
I don't know. I mean, 6 weeks maybe, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. I don't have a set plan in place yet.
Okay. I feel like that 4 to 6 week mark is a good time frame where you kind of start ramping it up. So,
Yeah, I wanna make myself feel a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit rushed to get prepared, uh, because I think that's gonna be good for me
to make you
to
more focused.
yeah, to make me more
Yeah.
focused. I think, a lot of my training has been very thought out, very, uh, it planned really, really well, and I wanna interrupt that for good reason.
Okay. Quite interesting. I find that no matter what I do, if I try to do something well ahead of time or spread it out, it doesn't work because mentally I don't have any motivation to get it done. But the closer I get to a deadline, I become more focused and I feel like I actually do a better job because I'm so mentally focused on the task that needs to get done. I do a better job.
Yeah.
much more detail oriented.
Yeah. So I'm going to use that to my advantage for sure. I know I experience it the same exact way.
Okay.
Yeah. Except for my ammo loading, I really like to load all of my ammo in the winter.
Well, that I get. That's something completely different, but that's a time consuming thing. So
So time consuming.
yeah, holy cow. Now, shoot, I was just about to ask the question. Oh, I know what it was. It's more of a for me, and I'm curious if you are the same way. I noticed that when I was shooting regularly, the more shooting I did between matches, the more that first stage felt like a continuation from my training. Like there was no, if I had a gap in shooting, let's say I didn't shoot for a couple of weeks and then I shot a match, that first stage, it was like I was getting used to the recoil again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've experienced it. I mean, even the last couple months, I've gone to some indoor locals, and I haven't shot in between them. And it's like the first shot, you're
Yes.
like, "Oh, okay, here we go," and then you
That
get used to
explosion thing again.
it. uh, so I definitely can relate.
Okay. When you were doing 10,000 rounds, though, that had to feel like it was just, there was no difference from day to day. It just felt natural.
It definitely did. And then getting into South Africa too, a few days ahead of time, and getting to continue to shoot, every single day was exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't want to stop going into World Shoot, but I had to,
Mm,
like tape up my hands and uh, let my cracked fingers heal a little bit, that kind of stuff.
right. You had to hit the pause button a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Were did you have any issues getting enough ammo over there to do all the shooting you wanted to?
Uh, I mean, I think I would have if I had to fly with all of it, but I was lucky enough to have friends there that were from South Africa. So Gaz and Sasha, uh, who had ammo that we had been talking ahead of time. They loaded some up for me, so I got to shoot that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was perfect.
All right. Between nationals and world shoot, how much did you and Steve talk mental management?
None between
Really?
then. No.
Okay.
Uh, and that was, I mean, that's because of me. I think I talked to Steve at Nationals. He was there, and we had sorted everything out through.
Okay.
And so I was happy to be on my own throughout that whole process.
How much do you think you learned in that time frame between or even before nationals up until we'll just say 2025 up until world shoot that you hadn't learned before then just with all the training and the shooting and the prep?
I don't know. That's hard to. I've never thought about that on like anything. I don't know if there was anything huge that was new. I think it was a lot more comfort in things that I already knew, and some more confirmation in things that I need to do. And I think there was more identification of stuff that just I don't have time to do until after. Uh, and there were some things that I I knew I had to pause on because there wasn't enough time. So like things that I'm working on now that I'm going to be able to use this year and in the next 3 years.
Okay.
And even at World Shoot, stuff that happened there was bigger than all the things that I learned training for World Shoot, which is not necessarily things that I learned at matches, but conversations that I had with guys on the team, with people I was training with leading up to it, and just shifting how I think about shooting.
So, okay. So did you learn more then about the competing side of shooting?
I mean, I guess it would be connected. I think that one of my most memorable conversations was with Jacob at World Shoot, or it was maybe after, uh, and we were just talking about. Uh, I think I had asked him some kind of question, and he said in my training, talking to me about what I need to do. He's like, you got to shoot more walls, like on purpose because of your shooting so early. Entering a position where you hit a wall or hit a barrel or something like that. Uh,
Mm, pushing the
and
envelope.
and I was then reflecting, like, I don't think I hit that many walls. I hit some walls in training, making mistakes. Like I was still pushing, but not hard enough, or not as hard as I could have.
Interesting. If you look, and I don't mean you, I just mean in general here. When I was doing all these numbers and I was looking at different things, it's why I had Tim Heron on and we talked about points versus time. And you look at Jacob's times, it's rare that anybody has a lower total time than him. That dude
Yeah,
is freaking fast.
he's hard to beat in time.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to beat him in time. Like he's going to be the I can't think of the low time champion, you know what I mean? Like he's going to be that guy. If he ever picks up more points, everybody's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you see it, like he'll shoot. He'll have some stages in it at World Shoot. There was a big field course on, like, our first stage on day 2, and he shot it like 3-4 seconds faster than everybody else on the squad, and he had good points, and it's a huge stage win for him, at least on the squad at the time.
right. That's massive.
Uh,
Uh, no.
and yeah, his match was really cool to watch. I mean, he made mistakes, obviously, but it was really cool to see him shoot that whole match.
So was that the first match you really had an opportunity to talk to different shooters than you normally shoot or talk to?
Um, I mean, I guess so. In a sense, I mean, you're spending a lot of time with people, and there's everybody from all around the world as well. And so, I guess outside of USPSA nationals, it's, yeah, one of the or the most exposure that I've had to other people. And I don't travel around near as much as anyone else. Uh,
Right. And
and
you don't
so,
shoot other the divisions. You just shoot carry optics.
yeah, yeah, I don't have time to do all of the nationals or anything like that. It's too
Right.
much.
Yeah, like I don't even see him. He wasn't even unless he shot a division that I'm not showing that wasn't at handgun national or factory gun nationals last year. He didn't even shoot last year. Let me go
Are
to
you
see
talking Jacob?
Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob was shooting EHC during Factory Gun, I think.
Okay.
I think he shot mostly IPSC matches last year in preparation.
Interesting. Okay. That's right. I do. You know what? Now that you say that, I remember now the posts coming out about the same time with him doing that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, so if you go back to 2024, where, you had Edsel Gino and Eric and them here, he was a second faster than Edsel. Edsel was a second. Those are the only two below 300 seconds total time.
Mhm.
So the dude is fast,
Yeah,
really
a lot to
fast.
learn from Jacob. A lot to learn
But
from
it,
his videos. I mean, he puts everything on YouTube, which is really cool, and there is a lot to be soaked up. And a lot to be soaked up as far as his style, where and it's more apparent in person, where he'll go through a stage, he'll make a couple of mistakes during the stage, and then you can see the time in relation to yours, even with mistakes. Uh, and like stepping out of a fault line or things like that, uh, and still being really fast. And like that thing we were talking about earlier about error correction too, like messing up a little bit, but then getting right back on the plan and not letting it affect the rest of the stage.
he was interesting when I had AMU on years ago. It's like probably 4 years ago now. He talked about how after a bad stage, he gives himself 30 seconds to get it out of his system, and then it's locked right back in,
Mhm.
go do the next stage. But it's interesting because that whole while you're shooting thing, we've all gotten to the point where we've missed something and gotten flustered. That's probably the hardest thing to learn for most people is not getting flustered. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, in
maintaining
the
that.
moment.
Yeah, in the moment.
Yeah, because that causes real damage. And obviously taking it to another stage causes more damage, but in the moment, to be able to not let it affect the next transition, the next whatever it is, the activator sequences after an error, all of it.
Or even not lingering on that target longer than you need to slow you down there too.
Exactly, that transition off after you know you've
Yeah,
tagged a no shoot or something, and to not get hung up. Uh, and so like that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, watching Jacob's videos and picking as much information that you can from it. Uh, and I think he's a good example of it. I mean, anybody who posts video from some of the Super Squad people, or it's good to watch. But Jacob posts his entire match, every single stage, when he gets video
interesting.
for it, which maybe miss video here and there, but
Right. Now, have you watched any of Christian stuff?
oh, of course, yeah.
Because he's like Jacob, maybe not quite as fast, but very fast, but also very accurate. I compare him to Eric, where they're both unique in that they're fast and accurate like that. You know?
Yeah, and Christian's cool to shoot with too because he he's very detailed with like the walkthrough and planning things out like very perfectly. And so again, like it's a different style, and like he's less likely to make mistakes like stepping out of a shooting area or slipping on gravel. Like he picks up on a lot of detail to help prevent accuracy errors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Which is obviously shows up in his scores.
I'm hoping to have him on in March. We're aiming for March. So that'll be an interesting conversation because I've
Yeah.
watched, I've tried to watch him whenever I go to a match and he's there because he's probably the most efficient shooter I've seen where there's no wasted movement. He seems to stick like all the spots where he wants to stop, like,
Mhm.
and that detail oriented part has got to be part of it. So,
Yeah. So it was super fun. I mean, we shot Area 1 earlier in 2025, and got to shoot with Jacob and Christian, and we were all
hmm.
shooting carry optics. And so to be able to talk through stages and come up with plans together, and kind of even kind of have variances from plans, was a great time.
Oh, wow. How different were when you guys had different plans? How different were they? Were they just because they were a slightly different due to your individual strengths?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It
Okay.
was like, "Oh, I'm gonna draw to this piece of steel." It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna draw to this paper." Just stuff like that. But, coming into a position that's very tight and very specific on how you're gonna get there, like, if you're gonna shoot on the move backing into that position and then look down at the ground and put your foot, in place, or if you're gonna shoot some stuff static and then give yourself a longer run, like, things like that where it's, uh I don't know, it was interesting to hear reasoning for certain things and put all that together.
I probably need to get him back on because I would be curious too. I mean, he's in the military, so he has a fitness regime he's got to do because I'm sure he does a fitness test every year, like we used to do as well in the Marines. So I wonder if he outlines his workout so that he gets more benefit for that explosive type movement that he needs in stages. Did you guys ever talk about any of that?
Uh, Not much. I mean, yeah, not you gotta get him back on for sure.
I do. Now, what about you? I joked earlier about the Legos and the running and barefoot and stuff like that. But so I know that you run,
Yeah, yeah,
but
and
do
I
you
still
do
run.
anything?
I run, and then I do a lot of injury prevention for like wrists, elbows, hands, and things like that. So
Okay.
strength exercises for that. But then during the winter, I pick up on running quite a bit. Um, I got a half. I did a half marathon in like December, and then I'm going to do another one here in April, and that'll be the last one for the year.
I ran 12 miles one time. Did it in 72 minutes flat.
Ooh,
And I told myself, I was like, I don't care how fast I am not running that ever again in my life. I was more, I swear to this day, the reason I ran it so fast was I was so bored that I was like, I got to get this thing done. I am done with this.
yeah, that's fast. So was 72 for what? How many miles?
12 miles, the 6 minute mile for 12 miles.
Yeah, that's very fast.
That was back in my heyday. I mean, back then I had the fastest 2,000 meter fin. I had that time on that. So it was just, I had nothing but time. So all I did was fitness stuff. You know what I mean? Like if I was going to be good at something, I was going to be fit, damn it.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, so people for reference, a 5K, so that's like running uh how many 5Ks? 5, 10, 15. Well, an 18-minute 5K pace for 72 minutes.
and my 3 mile time was 17 flat,
Yeah.
17:03
Yeah.
twice. I did it 17:03 twice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's wild. Nice,
Yeah.
Dave.
Man, I used to love running trails and stuff like that. After that, the farthest I ever ran was 8 miles through the woods. I was like, that was it. I'm never doing 12 again. So man, my hat is off to you for running half marathons because mentally I couldn't do it. That would just, it's like torture.
It is, and that's kind of why I'm doing it. So
Just to torture yourself through the winter, huh?
it's really hard. Running's hard.
Yeah, it can be fun,
It
but
can
yeah,
be.
that's why I ended up just doing trail runs. Even later in life, I'd run trail. Like we have a bunch of Civil War battlefields around here with trails, and I would run those
Mhm.
as my course. So fun stuff. All right. So I want to, all right. Well, man, I want to get to this one question that I've got written down that I
Let's
wrote
get
down when
there.
you started talking, but I, I, I want to exercise a little patience. So you don't travel a lot. Interesting that you did shoot Area 1 last year, which is unusual.
Yeah, that was a bit of traveling that I had to do.
Yeah. And now you're going to South Africa. So what were your thoughts on, okay, crap, I've got to prepare for travel, not just outside of the country, but halfway around the world. And then how did all of that go?
It went very smoothly. I mean, I had a lot of support from obviously from my family, but also friends and other guys who were going, people who had gone before to South Africa, especially I think it was the year before for the
Oh,
African Handgun Championship.
yeah, I think that's right.
Uh, and so I feel like we had a really good picture of what travel was like or what everything was going on there. Uh, and so all it was just, spending the money to get tickets and organizing things, which was really easy on my side because I had friends there who took care of arrangements. I rode with people who rented cars. It, it worked out well for me. It was really easy for me.
Were there any hiccups during your travel from Maine to South Africa?
No, no,
Okay.
it was really easy. I had to book two separate trips to get there because out of Maine here, I couldn't go. Like it wouldn't allow me to book directly. Like it wouldn't link all the flights I wanted to get to South Africa, so I had to go to Atlanta and then book another one to go to South Africa on that nonstop flight.
Wow, Atlanta and not Boston or New York, huh?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I
Okay.
think most everybody flew out of either Atlanta or um, Newark,
Okay.
depending on the airline.
No issues when you got to South Africa with your guns or ammo or any of that?
No, I had all my paperwork was through. I was one of the first people to get back my permit there. Uh, and so they had all the paperwork they needed. The police did there, and everything went through really smooth. On a flight with only a few other people because I was there, 4 days early or whatever it was. So there wasn't a huge rush
How
of
early
people.
did you how early did you get there?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. And I don't even remember which days it was, but I think I had like 3 full days of training at another range before heading to the World Shoot range.
Nice.
Yeah, which was really fun. Training with Gaz who picked me up at the airport, and then the last day at Solgino, we shot a whole day with him and uh, Thomas, also from the Philippines, and
Oh, okay.
who's on their classic team. Uh,
How
and
was that?
so,
Because Edsel's a freaking fast dude too.
yeah, exactly. So Etzel was one of those other conversations, and getting to talk with him and shoot stages, before him and after him, uh, in training was really cool. Uh, and so, learning a lot from him as far as like transitions and just being as aggressive as he is. And there's a lot to take away.
Okay. This seemed like a very big learning experience too, not just a shooting experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that gets back into, we'll get it to it, but on my behavior at World Shoot as well, and like
Right.
how I shot the match. Um,
Okay.
but but that lead up to the match and getting to train with those guys was very, very cool. I also got to shoot with Leon, who finished second junior to Robin Gruffel, and he was like really good as well, very, very fast.
How old is he?
He's like 16. He's from South Africa.
Damn. 16 and already doing that well.
Yes, 15 or 16, I forget. But I have his hoodie is on the wall behind me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. Looky there.
I know.
Did
I'm
did you
very lucky to have it.
did you did you
I
trade
traded with
much?
him. I gave him a shirt.
I figured. Did you trade much while you were over there?
Yeah, yeah. I ran out of jerseys to trade. I
So
was
you were
gonna
shot topless on the last day?
no, I was gonna keep like one of my jerseys, but then I ended up trading away. So
I thought maybe you pulled a Lane Grease and you just went out and shot with no shirt on that last day.
yeah, no,
Oh, it's funny watching Lane's training videos. He's just out there in the summertime,
it's pretty
topless
good.
shooting. It's pretty funny.
I did it one time and then I got sunburned.
Oh my goodness. You live and you learn.
Yep.
So where did you, it's interesting because, I talked to Mason and I had a conversation with Aaron. Um, and the experiences were completely different. Like Mason was in more of an urban area, so they didn't have any wildlife. But when I talked to Aaron, he's like, "Oh yeah, we had all kinds of wildlife around the Airbnb where he stayed."
Yeah.
Where did you stay?
I stayed at a hunting lodge, essentially, but
Oh,
it was really nice. We stayed with the rest of the guys from the Hit Factor podcast,
okay.
uh, and getting to know those guys more. I mean, we talked about it on we did a
In
3-part
person,
podcast, uh,
right?
but yeah, it was out in nature on a game preserve, and that whole experience was really cool. Seeing giraffes and wild animals, in the evening before you go to bed.
It's a big
We get to have
animal.
a fire every night, which is fire is like one of my favorite things. Sitting around a fire. Um,
I
so
always think of South Africa as dry, like arid.
it was very dry when we were there in the spring, at least.
Okay, I feel like it's a fire hazard. Like we're gonna
Yeah, it was
burn
a
down
good
the
fire.
country of
Like a
South
nice.
Africa.
It was a very nice fire pit. It was very safe.
Okay, okay. Roasting marshmallows and telling stories.
Yeah, yeah, and also Bob Crow too, who stayed with us, which we managed to get him on the Hit Factor podcast, which that was his first podcast ever. Uh, he was a really, really cool guy, uh, and getting to
Also a
talk
human
with him.
giraffe.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. But that whole group, you become like family with them, and it's really, yeah, that whole experience is even more than any of the world shoot stuff itself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's different when you. I'm going to use the term shack up with people, but just in a generic way, because now you're interacting in a much different way than you normally would. So that probably was a very good bonding experience.
for sure, for sure. And we were, it was a good group too, where everyone's understanding of what others want to hear and don't want to hear about scores, and all of that. And so um,
Good balance in there.
it was a good balance of that, and also getting to talk team scores. Like, it was a group of us, but we're all on pretty much different teams, uh, and getting to talk through all of the things that happened that day, and it was good to reflect and then kind of refocus for the next day, as well as like sharing video that you got from previous zones with others who are going to be shooting the same stages. Uh, so it was a good group.
How much strategy talk did you guys do as it pertains to team scores?
I mean, a decent amount. Like, we'd talk about where, after each day, kind of where we were sitting as far as team scores, and then, I wasn't staying with anyone else on the production optics team, and so it was more of like, what do I need to do, and getting
Mm,
feedback from the other guys, and then giving feedback to them on like what maybe they need to do, uh, because everybody on the team kind of holds a different job in that sense. Um, on you want people to be really consistent and maintain good scores, and then you want guys like Jacob to be able to lead the team and push, and so, yeah, that whole thing is a dynamic, and there's so much to be learned in that aspect as well, and making, like, I think in the future, kind of having team meetings in that sense to really solidify that plan. And I mean, like, we didn't do anything badly, in that sense. We just got beat by a really, really strong team, meaning the French.
okay. Well, led by Eric Graffel.
Yeah, and
So
second
yeah.
by, oh gosh, what's his name? Second at the World Shoot. Uh, but then also Robin, and I don't know all of the people's names. Uh,
Right. Me either.
I feel really dumb for not knowing the other guy. He shoots a Beretta. He was second, right behind Eric. Anyway,
And it's not like I can pull up on practice score and go, "Oh, what was the world shoot score?" You know what I mean?
no, it's tricky. I'll think of it.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it then, because I've always wondered, you go to World Shoot and you're trying to win a World Shoot championship, but you're also part of a team. So
Yeah,
you're also trying to win a team gold. You're trying to win an individual and a team. And a
absolutely.
lot of times I'm thinking, well, if you do your best to try to win a gold, that should improve your score and help the overall team score. But is that correct? Am I thinking wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on you. Like, you have to be really realistic with what you can do, and that answer is going to be different for everybody. Because not everybody going to the World Shoot can win it,
Right.
and not everybody on the team going to the World Shoot can win it. Uh, so if you're not in contention to win, then you need to make decisions that help the team a little bit more than maybe would help you individually.
Okay.
But if you're in a position to win, then you kind of have to make those decisions properly in for to help your individual score, and so that may mean taking on more risk, uh, to put yourself in contention, or to be in contention at the end.
All right. So what you mentioned earlier, that there are jobs for the team members. and you were feeling that there should probably be more team meetings where you can discuss what the role of each individual will be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I actually don't think it's too complicated. I mean, you have people on the team and you kind of know the order that they're going to finish already before you go there. So you have people like Jacob who are really really strong. Um, and then JJ and myself, like usually we're pretty close. Uh, and you kind of look at everybody's strengths. Like I'm very consistent. Um, and Jacob i- is always finishing really really high. He's very fast, and you want to maximize those strengths. Like that match played well to having a high level speed, um, because of what the hit factors were and everything. But also the length of the match plays well to consistency for me, and um, so to be able to kind of double down on those strengths, I mean that was the goal for me. Like I'm gonna shoot that match very very consistently and not make any mistakes. Um, and that's going to be solid for the team score.
Was it easy to maintain consistency over 5 days of shooting?
No, but for me, because it's a strength of mine, it's easier than it is for others.
Okay.
I mean, even JJ coming into that match, I think it was tricky because he was the defending production optics champion, world champion, and I think he must have felt pressure going into that match, and maybe pushed too hard in spots where it just wasn't there, especially with the other guys that were competing, like Edsel and Eric and Jacob and those guys.
Okay. I'm scrolling. I just went through all the results and I did not see, I got the production optics, but I did not see overall production optics results.
Oh, are you must be um, on
I'm
like
on
that website.
worldshoot.org.
You're the results were pulled onto Practice Score, onto the
Oh,
competitor app,
right. They
um,
were on the competitor app.
and that's probably the easiest
Let
place to
me,
see it.
here we go. I'll just, I mean, yeah, Wikipedia's got it. It'll be quicker.
They may have it. They may have jumbled things a little bit. Because I
Classic
don't think they have the strict order of finish.
revolver. So it was Eric, Emile Aubriot,
Yeah, Emil,
Emile, right? And
amazing
then,
shooter, really cool guy.
yeah, also from France. And then Jacob.
Yep,
And they should have the team standings here at the bottom. So it was Team France, then Team USA, and then Team
the Philippines.
Philippines.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. That was a huge. I mean, they won by 200 points.
yeah. I mean,
Wow.
so you look at Eric, Emil, and then um, Robin, who finished 13th overall, and their point gap, especially Eric and Emil, had a lot on the other Team USA guys, like JJ and myself, and a
Okay.
little bit on Jacob, obviously.
Right. Yeah, I mean Eric did Eric stuff. So I mean he won by 4.14%. So
Yeah.
when the number one guy scores that many points, it's hard to overcome that.
Yeah, you need the rest of the people on the team to not do well, and that was not the case.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
him and Robin and Emil were very very strong. And their other guy I think had some issues, but he was obviously a really good shooter as well. But yeah, all of the results I think aren't like the competitor app is where it's going to be easiest to see.
Right. Yeah, I believe Eugene every day was pulling that stuff over into competitor app.
Yeah. And pulling it over in a simple fashion so, mics are getting transferred into deltas and charlies and stuff like that, or however it worked. just point
Right.
equivalents to equal the same hit factor.
Right. Yeah. I don't. I wish IPSC would do
It'd be
practice
great if
score.
they
You know
used
what I
practice
mean?
score, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be. Just
I
follow
don't.
the U.S. It's the best thing out there.
I don't know why it's even an argument of not using practice score. Like how does that work? Everything
It's
else
got
is
to be
terrible.
something political. Yeah. Got to be something political. So, did you guys, at the end of the day, before you departed the range, whether it be, a morning or an afternoon, whatever it was, because there was what, three shooting times actually. So it was like morning,
There's
middle of the,
four. Was there four
oh,
flights?
that's right. There's early morning, late
Mid
morning,
morning,
then early
noon,
afternoon,
early
late
after.
afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was four. So did you guys ever, the production optics team, did you guys ever talk about the strategy either before the day or after the day?
It more so on kind of like the last few days, there were some conversations going into where we are as a team, and what it became was more defending the second position instead of going after the first place because there's no catching.
Okay.
uh, and knowing, kind of paying attention to where the Filipinos were leading to the last few days and what we need to do. And it was a lot of like encouraging stuff like, hey guys, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. um, and and we'll just hold it together and we'll be set.
What would you different? What will you do differently in 2029?
I mean, I'm gonna do everything I can to put myself in a position of contention at that match, which also means shooting a lot of matches prior to that in a more, I don't know, a more risky kind of way, not not in a
Mm.
reckless way or unsafe, but not going into a matches thinking that I'm defending something and actually going after something at national matches, area matches, things like that.
So just being more aggressive in general,
Yes, doing everything.
but
uh
not reckless.
yeah, not reckless, but doing everything better. Just gonna
Just
be
being
better.
faster and more accurate.
Just,
Okay, I get it.
yeah, faster and more accurate. But I think that that's more for me. It's more mental than it is something technical that I need to change. There'll be always technical things that I'm going to work on, but uh, you know, shooting matches more on the edge of my skill instead of well underneath it. Uh,
Well, I was about to ask you, do you feel like sometimes you shoot too conservatively?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I
I mean,
and I
I
ask that because you're not a slow shooter, you're a very accurate shooter, but at the same time, like I'll use 2024 carry optics again, okay? Because I've got it up there. Your your alpha count was 87.37%, which is really high. Jacobs was 78. And behind you, Christian was 80, we'll call it 82.
mhm.
So at the same time, your time was 9 seconds slower than Christian and 19 seconds slower than Jacob. And that's the only reason I'm asking. Do you think you should give up a little or be a little faster and give up a little bit of accuracy in order to try to drive up the hit factor?
Yeah. I mean, there's more of a balance that I can find there,
Okay.
uh, and I'm willing to not finish as well at matches in order to find that balance. I'm willing to go to a match and shoot 78% of, or 78% alphas or whatever, and figure out what I learned from that in order uh, to improve it the next time.
Mm.
I'm okay taking those risks at this point, where I wasn't necessarily okay with doing that last year because it's leading into World Shoot, and I want to go to World Shoot, my first World Shoot. I want to, be a counting scorer on the team. I want to do my best in that kind of sense where, in the future, I want more than that. And there will be less on the line for myself in the future than there was, or than I felt last year. I felt a lot of pressure in that sense to just go and perform and do my best and, do something good for the team and all that. And now a little
Nice.
bit of that pressure's off for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Especially getting that first one under your belt, knowing what it's like. Now you can look forward and have that memory and that experience to draw from. But I can't imagine that you would change. I'm not going to say that. That's not the correct phraseology. I'm sure you're going to look at places where you can push at nationals, but at the same time, you still have to qualify for the next world
Well,
shoot.
yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is you can't. Yeah, I mean, the qualifying for the team is not a given ever. Uh,
Right.
uh,
Right.
there's so many people that are really, really good and that are becoming very, very good. Um, but at the same time, I'm okay risking that spot, even if I go to World Shoot as an individual, to, you know, get more practice changing who I am instead of, playing it safe. Because I can play it safe and get a slot and continue to finish in the top 10 at nationals or whatever. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in winning. Uh, and those are two different things.
They are. But so does that translate into then being more aggressive to win a national championship?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
To put myself in the mix more and figuring out what that's like. It's not like I'm going to go and intentionally, bomb a nationals and shoot
Right.
badly. Uh, but, you know, in the right places, using more of my skill that I have to get a better score instead of, waiting for other people to make mistakes, which works really well at big matches. I mean, that at nationals, at world shoots, it works pretty well. Unless you're competing against people that are doing the same thing that are better than you.
Yeah, but I mean, there aren't that many percentage wise that, fit that bill
No,
because 99% of those people are not at that level, even at World Shoot.
right, right. But there's enough of them that you'll get beat if, or
Sure.
I'll get beat if I play it safe. Like it's not
Okay.
it. This is not production optics in 2022. This
Right.
is this is production optics in 2025 and beyond, and
Right.
it's a different game. You can't you can't win doing the same things that you did to win back then. There's
I
too many
agree.
people who are
Yeah.
too good.
That division being so freaking popular, it's just going to get more crowded at the top.
Yeah. And it's a little bit divided now with limited optics, but we still get, factory gun nationals, which is good. Which I hope everybody will just this year at least shoot carry optics and nobody will shoot production. Uh, so it'll be good. It'll be good. We'll still call it carry optics nationals because that's what it is
And it's probably going to be a very large percentage carry optics. Guarantee it.
for sure.
I was just looking at. I posted some videos on Substack earlier, and I was going over just the area matches, and still, Area One this year has 175 carry optics shooters so far. 141 at Area 5, 171 at Area 7, your neck of the woods.
Yeah, a lot of guys shooting optics.
Yeah. And then 117. So it is still the number one division in all of those area matches. And what's number two? Limited optics.
Mm,
And then there's a massive gap from there to open, even PCC. All of these, all four of those, Jay, have between 20 and 30 iron sighted shooters, and that is it.
that's wild.
Everything else is an optic firearm.
Yeah.
Everything. It is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, you see it at locals where there's like one person with iron
Shooting
sights there.
irons. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's nuts. Pretty wild.
it is.
So yeah, it's just gonna the and I saw posts over the last few days where people are like, my goal is, world shoot team in 2029. I'm like, man, that's a hard goal because the competition is going to be so hard. And there are people like you that have reached that upper pinnacle. Maybe you haven't won a national championship yet, but you've been at the cusp of that, a
Very
few
close.
points here and there that could have changed the order of things. So they have to surpass that. So I was in my mind, I'm like, man, that's a tough goal right there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is, and it still is for any of the guys who made the team prior. Because
Yes.
nothing's guaranteed. You're dealing with a lot of variables, and so and qualification starts next year. We don't have a year off of qualification, uh,
Right.
so everything counts. So it's exciting. I mean, I like it, and again, it's I want the best teams to be selected, and if I'm not on that team, then so be it. Uh, but I feel less pressure in the sense to qualify for a team, and more pressure to get more of my potential in competition out.
Okay. Does that mean you're going to shoot more local matches, more level 2 matches? What does that mean realistically?
Realistically, it means that I shoot some more local matches.
Okay.
I wish it was well. I mean, I wish I'm happy with how many matches I go to, but it would be cool if it could be shoot more area matches. But it's not going to be like that. I'll shoot one area match and a couple of state matches, and hopefully a bunch of locals. Um,
In the past, if you always shot a local, just have you used it for training or do you use it as match prep?
I mean, I've tried to use it as training, but again, like changing who you are is harder than like thinking your way through it.
It's a
You have to,
fundamental change.
yeah, you have to, it's very uncomfortable. And so, giving myself more exposure to that at local matches is what I need to do. And I've been doing that this winter at a few matches. And the first one, it was like, it was not happening. And then the next one, it was getting a little bit more like I'm feeling a little bit more free to shoot and make mistakes. But again, you always have pressure to win locals as well. And
Right.
so, playing games with friends of mine as far as uh they're being like hopefully for myself shooting recklessly in a good way enough that they're at risk for beating me, and in the same way helping them out so that they're at risk for beating me or whatever it is. Playing games like that, adding more pressure, and at the same time still getting what you need to out of the matches as far as training.
How much harder do you think it is for you? Because I always feel like you're kind of isolated up there. Like
And
where I live, there are a bunch of GMs. You got Todd Jarrett down here. If I travel 3 hours south, you've got all of North Carolina, all those guys.
a great group
So
there, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of 3 hours in any direction, and you've got great shooters where I feel like you're way more isolated. How much harder do you think it is for you to grow as a shooter without all those other people pushing you and to be able to talk to?
I think it's I mean, I've made the best of it as far as my circumstance, but I know that having a group of guys that are really, really competitive would be super helpful. Like a good friend of mine, Kyle Narcom, and even like Dylan Poulin, uh, those guys shoot together at locals all the time, and talking to them, like, that helps a lot
Yeah.
for their development. And so when I get to shoot with them, or I don't know, it's spaced out enough where I feel a little bit like I wish I had that. Uh, but at the same time, I don't know, I get to have a little more freedom. Like, I don't always have to go to a match and be thinking about other people in that way. So I don't know.
Do you ever find it hard to stay motivated to keep improving?
Uh,
This is a lot
I
more
have
work now, Jay. You know what I mean? Like when you're a B class at 65%, it's a hell of a lot easier to get to 75 than it is for you to go from 99 to 100.
Yeah, so I have to find. I mean, this is where it is kind of been what I've been talking about, where I have to fundamentally change who I am as far as how I shoot matches, and doing that is very difficult. I think I'm plenty motivated to do it, but
Okay.
as long as I'm directing that motivation in the right area, which I think I'm way more on track than I was 2 years ago to finding that direction.
Well, I say that too because you don't work in the shooting business.
No, very quite intentionally.
Okay. But there are a lot of people, Mason. When I talked to Mason last, it seems like he has learned that point where he now knows where he can take risks, where he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like he has learned a lot, but he shoots with Phil. He trains people at SIG Academy. So he does a lot of stuff to help himself in that realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you, when you're not shooting, your focus is other stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it's also more work in that regard. So that's why I'm wondering, like, have you so you haven't lost any of the desire to do all of that additional work because it's a lot of work to do what you're doing.
I
Just
mean, I
to
think it fluctuates. I'm careful to take time away from seriously thinking about it all the time, and giving myself time in the winter to think about other things, and direct my attention, so then I can come back to it really strong. Uh,
Okay. How much time do you take off during the winter?
I mean, I still dry fire every day, but uh,
Okay.
I'm not
But
live firing right now.
are
Um,
you dry firing to improve or dry firing to maintain?
I'm dry firing to improve certain skills, and then to maintain others.
Okay.
Uh, but the volume is way down on dry fire, and on live
Okay.
fire, obviously. Uh,
Right.
but yeah,
But
when
it's
things roll around, I mean, I think that not being around it and not being amidst a bunch of people shooting local matches all the time gives me time also to focus on, like, that. Uh, I talked a little bit earlier about the, like, practicing, rehearsing stages and matches,
yeah.
and things like that, because I can't go to a match every weekend. Uh, and so I watch other people's match video and then memorize their matches, and then shoot their matches.
Really?
And I've been doing that for, I don't know, 5 6 years. And other matches I care about, like, I memorized matches from the World Shoot Range, uh, and then you shoot them in your mind. So I get exposure in that way. It's actually really cool.
Okay.
I enjoy
I'm
it.
good. I'm pulling up the I was trying to remember the exact date. So Factory Gun is in mid September this year,
Hmm.
not June like it has been. Thank God.
That's
So
great.
you actually have some warm weather training you can do before Factory Gun Nationals.
Yeah.
Um, how is that going to affect your training? This are you going to wait a little bit longer before you really start getting
Yeah.
into it
I mean,
seriously?
most every year I've been at this point plowing out the range, and setting up stuff and shooting. and I'm going to wait until the snow is gone to do that.
Okay.
And wait for some good weather, and then I think that will help too with like that motivation piece and that focus, just because the timeline is a little bit more normal, or feels more normal to me, with the
Okay.
nationals in a proper timing of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. This should never be, nothing should be in June.
It shouldn't be.
No, it's just
There
not
was
enough time for the northern states to.
there was optics nationals in what, 2018 or 17, in March in Florida.
Yeah, that should never happen.
That was really weird. I was
Yeah, that
right when I started, but
okay. That was I didn't get into it till 2018, so
yeah,
that's almost before my time. But yeah, I mean the I like this. I like that they're doing. I think race guns is still going to be hot. August 19th in Ohio. That's going to be a warm one.
yeah,
And then I'm sure Utah in mid September is probably going to be slightly warm as well.
yeah. That'll be good. And then we got IPSC nationals right after that, a couple weeks later,
Yep,
Pittsburgh.
3 weeks. Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks later. Are you going to do that one?
Hmm.
Okay,
Signed up. It's a qualification match, so I have to go.
it is. Yeah, I mean, well, you have what 25, 26, 27, and 28, right? Or no, 26,
Yeah, 26,
27,
27,
28.
28. So 6 nationals.
So yeah, you got to do all of them.
I mean, yeah, I guess what is
You
it?
don't
Best
have
3 out of
to.
the 6?
Yeah,
Or
so you have to do three.
I could be wrong about that. You have to do
It's
some
either
amount.
3 or 4 out of 6.
But again, like, you're at a slight disadvantage if you don't do them all, uh,
You are.
because you
Yeah.
miss out on a potential good score.
That's why
Or
that's why
yeah,
I was saying I think 2025 was a world shoot year. But I think those scores should have counted for 2029. And I say that because keep the same number that you need. Let's say it's 4. Let's say it's 4 out of 6 right now. Keep the minimum of 4, but now you've opened it up to 8 opportunities. So if you're a female and you're pregnant and you miss a year, no big deal. You still have an extra 2 matches in a year. Or, if you, when your wife was having children, maybe like Jay Slater, his wife just had a child not too long ago.
hmm,
It would give him time to maybe miss a match or two, and it
yeah.
doesn't hurt you.
No, I get that as well. I I like the idea of forcing consistency to be a factor. Whereas if you are choosing best 3 out of 4 matches, then you have to perform well 3 out of 4. And if you're choosing, 3 out of 6, then you only have to perform well half the time. Uh, and I mean, I guess I'm a little bit biased on it just because I don't want to be forced to travel to 2 nationals every single year.
Right.
It's financially, it's more demand on the family and travel and things like that. So if qualification is condensed, then I kind of like that. If it, like, the year before World Shoot, they're like, here's 3 matches this year. They're earlier in the year. We're going to select teams from these 3 matches. Um, I think that would select the most hot talent to fill the teams right there, where you're not filling teams 4 years prior to a World
Earlier.
Shoot.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But also, I see your points as far as that goes too. I don't think there's a perfect answer. Uh,
Yeah, I think there's benefits and pros and cons for both.
yeah.
So, but I get your point because last year, they were taking scores way back to like 2021 or
For
whatever it
PCC,
was.
for sure, I think.
Yeah, it was PCC. So
Yeah.
it is nicer to have it more condensed, closer to the world shoot because you're going to get a better representation.
Yeah.
So
At least for recent talent, like, people come up in the sport in 2 years. I mean, if you look at Adam
Grim.
Grimm,
Yeah.
uh, and if people like that come up in 2027, 2028, they miss out on half the qualifiers. They're just not going to have an opportunity to qualify. They may be the one of the best shooters in the country, and they can't be on the team.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep the same number of qualifiers, though, so like, let's say it's 3 out of 6. If you add 2 more matches, it's still 3 out of 8. So if they crush 2028, both IPSC Nationals and let's say they win IPSC Nationals and Nationals, and then, they were top 10 the year before. Well, those are their 3 highest ones. They might actually bump out somebody from before.
Sure. Yeah.
But again, I still understand and get your point. So
Yeah.
I yeah,
Yeah. I don't envy the people that are coming up with the qualification process.
right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and again, like I'll go to the matches. Like I even said when I think I was, telling a friend like, "Oh, I'm not signing up for IPSC Nationals," and then, a couple minutes later, saying I signed up for it. Just as like, well, I guess I got to go. Um, Even though
Right.
you can miss a couple of them and still be fine.
Right. Yeah, you
You
can.
can still shoot enough to get points.
But and that goes back to your point. Then you have to be consistent if you're not going to all of them
Yeah,
because
if you're not going to all of them,
you have
it
none to
tests
throw
something
away.
different. Yeah,
It does.
yeah,
I think it would. I feel like it would make you a slightly more conservative shooter because you're not going to be as you want that high up finish, but you don't want to make a mistake so grave that it drops you far enough in the standings that you're now fifth for the team, and
exactly.
and now you're a fill-in instead of a primary member.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a whole, I don't know, it's a whole nother game, which I kind of like it. Uh, and to play those qualification games. It's kind of like a classifier system.
It is.
Fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So now what did you think about you spoke about it briefly that you like the top 10 stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm going to run that thing all the way through the end of the decade and come up with like shooters of the decade of each division.
Yeah. I think it's cool. Uh, I think it's fun for people who are fans of the sport, which includes me. Uh,
Mhm.
and you get a really cool picture. Like, some it's a name recognition thing where you're expecting certain names to be there and maybe you're surprised by some. And it's a fun
When
thing
they're
to
not.
follow. And like
Yeah.
you can come up with the same rankings. I mean, we did on the Hit Factor podcast years ago where you come up with like what they're doing power rankings where it's just arbitrary, but you're pulling names and putting them on a top 10 list. It's interesting, it's fun, it's entertaining.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to use match performance at nationals. So, but it is
Yeah.
it is interesting because I expected a couple of names to show up and I was like, why aren't they here? And then you go back and you're like, oh, they actually didn't participate as much as I thought they did.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Carry Optics and Jacob's name isn't on there because Jacob didn't start to shoot Carry Optics until 23, 24, 23 and 24, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he
Yep.
shot it in 22
And he didn't
or
shoot it in
before.
25.
Yeah. So he's got two matches in there.
Yeah.
Uh, and so
So
in that sense, it rewards consistency for a
participation.
division. But again, it's rewarding for a prize that doesn't matter. But that's why it's funny.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
people are upset that certain people aren't on a list, but it's like for what reason? Uh,
Right.
and you're not giving out prize money, so
I am not. My name is not Hunter Constantine. Maybe I can get Belt to support it. Give away
maybe you
some money.
can.
Yeah. We'll have a top. I used to do the shooter of the year thing. Maybe I should bring that back and talk to Hunter.
Just give some
That'll
people
drive
money
up a
for it.
little competition. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it's good.
Cash
I think
always gets
competition
people
is
excited.
obviously helps a ton.
Oh yeah.
Gets people emotional. It's great.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah, it gets people really worked up.
I want to throw out something else to you because when I started doing this, I am now a proponent of doing away with stage points.
Oh, stage points.
Yeah, completely doing away with it.
Okay, so how would
Here,
that work?
so unless the I would well, what it would work is you still get your hit factor and all of that, but now your match standing is your overall hit factor for the entire match.
Okay, so I imagine it shakes out relatively similar.
It does, except it actually rewards people who are more consistent because if you have if you're one of those people that has wild swings up and down, then you can actually drop further in the standings on one of those. If you're one of those people who's always swinging for the fence on every stage, well, you might be, second, third, fifth, first, second, third, 79th, 147th, third, 215th. The stage points actually hurts those people more.
Yeah. It would be
Whereas,
interesting to run some tests like that. I mean, I'm sure you can simulate them. Uh,
yeah, well, looking at all of these, I mean, I have a spreadsheet that's 20 tabs big because they're all the nationals. And when I go in, I actually looked at them by hit factor. And it's like, whoa, some of these people actually had a higher hit factor than people above them, but yet they, were further down in the rankings because of stage points.
it's interesting.
Yeah. There were a few of them like that. And I was like, fair. And that's where, doing these things, I'm learning more about hit factor than I knew based on what I'm seeing. Actual total overall hit factor, I would say in general, rewards speed. But when the current way that we're doing it based on stage points rewards points.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. It could be interesting to run scenarios.
It would be. I think I'm going to do that this year for each nationals, just since there aren't that many. And maybe I'll look at area matches where there might be more fluctuation between shooters.
Yeah.
At least in the top 10 or 15, there's going to be much more fluctuation because you don't get, the top 10 at nationals, those guys are all solid. The top 15, all very solid shooters. So there's typically less dispersion between them. Whereas you go to an
Yeah.
area match, you don't get that many high shooters at an area match.
Yeah. I wonder how it would separate people. Like, if the separation becomes smaller, and so if it makes things too tight, then it becomes uninteresting. If it compresses everybody at the top,
Right.
um, and it would, because then you end up with people winning who are not the best. And
The I have seen so far, everything I've run, it doesn't change who wins a match.
okay,
And it's there's only a couple of people, like maybe two people in every top 10 where there was one person though, I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember now, but there was like instead of being eighth, they would have been fifth.
mm,
So I was like, whoa, that one really got me. I was like, damn, that's a big difference. The other thing is minor. So doing all of this, I started running into the problem at the very beginning of the 2020s. Everybody in limited was major. Everybody in single stack was major. By the time you get to 2025, I think it was single stack had 60% of people shooting minor.
mm.
So now I'm like, okay, now I can't compare apples to oranges. So I had to convert all of the major scores to minor scoring and then compare. And then I saw people that really, there were some real interesting fluctuations there. That was really wild. It's like, some of these people, and now I firmly believe that major scoring rewards slop. And I've got numbers to prove it.
Yeah, I could believe it.
100% slop.
I mean, I would rather have major scoring
Oh,
all the
sure.
time
Yeah. 100%.
because you can be a little sloppy.
You can be a
And
lot sloppy. I find you
yeah,
can be a
I
lot
mean,
sloppy.
and so then I don't know, it's interesting then too because if you can be a lot sloppy, then that you can go faster.
Yes,
And if you can go
that's exactly it.
faster, then yeah, that you push the hit factors higher. And obviously we see that in major power factor divisions.
The one exception is Christian Seiler
Sure.
because when I convert his, like he's a 9.3 in major and he's a 9.03 in minor. So he's still very, and actually the gap with him grows when you convert all their scores to minor. So it was
Yeah.
very interesting,
Yeah.
which also explains why he is doing so well in the other divisions that are minor because he shoots the same way. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean,
Whereas,
minor divisions, yeah, suit him very well.
yeah. So it doesn't matter to him whether he's shooting minor or major. He's still shooting like an 82 to 85% alpha rate and
Yeah.
fast.
I think things get interesting when you have multiple people, which you don't right now in a lot of the divisions at his level, and then that changes the behavior of those people. And
Yes.
you then end up doing things that take on a little bit more risk, a little more slop happens, and then you get different things. So it's interesting looking at his points over the past, few years when he is leading matches by a lot and then not needing to do anything to stay in the match. And then it affects other people who are doing things to stay in the match that
Right.
that then changes what they're doing. To put themselves in a position of contention when they weren't before, and that requires more risk, which
It
then
does.
maybe drops your alpha count.
Yep.
Uh, and yeah, I don't know. Everything is subjective to the moment and the day and the stage
Yes.
and everything,
Because every
which is
match is different.
yeah, which is why I like this game. Every stage is different, even if it's a classifier set up in two different areas. Like everything's a little bit different because of who's around you, the situation going into that stage. Uh, Even at local matches, like everybody usually knows what score they need to get on a classifier to class up, which then
Right.
affects maybe how they shoot the stage, whether it should or not.
So, what are you hearing from people with the new um, qualification system where there is no more zero or hero because that could play a negative factor here?
I mean, I like it. I think it's cool.
I love it.
I always kind of shot the classification system that way, where I don't have a lot of scores that are below, you know, that I've tanked badly, and so it was always, consistency for me. Um, but now that you can score above 100% too, I think it's a little it's interesting in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know that I like that, but
I don't know that I like that either. I think it's cool that you can see that number, but I don't know if we should be counting that because then 100% is not 100%.
right.
100% is 90%. So
Right.
what are the numbers mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there should just be 100. That's as high as you can go.
Yeah.
Anything above a certain time is just, or faster than a certain time with certain points, it's still 100. That's all it is.
But again, I'm not there's a reason why I'm not coming up with these things and being the person designing this. I just like the game. Uh, because I think it balances speed and accuracy in a very interesting way.
Yeah. I like the fact now that people can't just go shoot a classifier and, you know, do whatever they can to try to get a higher hit factor, knowing that, you know, the whole game of, oh, if I'm not doing well, I'll just, you know, throw a miss or shoot a no shoot or whatever, you know, throw an extra shot on a Virginia count, whatever I need to do to get low enough that it doesn't count, you know?
Yeah, I think it helps the classifier mini game that is the system. I
I
think
think
it
it makes
makes
it a
it
little more legit.
makes it a better game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Keeps people more honest.
yeah, and I think we get less reshoots of classifiers as well. Um, just because what happens? You average the two, or the most recent one
Yeah.
takes it. I forget what the exact system is.
Yeah. If you reshoot it, then you get an average of the two.
Yeah, so people aren't not reshooting, which is great for
Correct.
matches, especially indoor matches with huge squads, uh, where people are not hanging around.
Oh, right. Oh,
uh, and you got like 5 people wanting to reshoot the classifier. So I don't mind that part.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a better game, a better system.
Yeah. I'm going to have to do some more work on the aggregate hit factor. That's what I'm calling it. Aggregate hit factor.
Yeah, and I think we've called it like global before because it gives a good impression of what the match was like.
Yeah.
I
There you
think
go.
World Shoot for production optics was in the eights for the winner,
Wow.
which is pretty high,
I was going to say that's high for an IPSC.
very
I always
high.
think of like 5, you know?
Yeah, uh, and then Carry Optics Nationals I think was low sevens for the winner, and then most everybody else was. I'm thinking of 25, but
It
it's a
was
good tell on the match and what the stages are like and what people are doing.
Christian won with a, well, I mean, the hit factor I have is the aggregate hit factor.
Yes, that's the
And
one.
now it was, so globally it was 8.040.
Okay,
Everybody else was mostly 7.5.
okay.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like so last year, he was the fastest carry optics competitor, and he had an alpha percentage of 86.10
Hmm.
with no mics and only, well, he had 7 deltas. I say only. He had 7 deltas. He had 1 penalty, so that means he had a no shoot
Yep.
in mine. So he would have had a single no shoot, but he was 86.1% alpha. You had an 84.39. You were the second highest in the top 10.
Yeah.
So you still had a very high alpha rate too. But for him to do that in the time that he did it, it's like, damn.
Yes.
I'm looking at Mason in production because he won production, and he had an 81% alpha rate, and he was the fastest also.
Hmm.
So it's interesting looking at this stuff for sure. You can actually, I didn't realize how much information I could learn just by looking at numbers in comparison with the different shooters, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot to be scraped up to be used to get better at the
There,
game.
oh, absolutely. It's still pretty wild that you memorize other people's stages at matches and then
Yeah, and I'll shoot
practice
them
it.
the way I want to. Like sometimes you pull video from people and you're like, well, that looks kind of dumb. I'm gonna shoot that stage differently. But you learn the stage, and then you shoot it. So I think of it as match practice without shooting a match. It's actually free.
Are you setting it up in live firing or just dry fire the stage?
No, none of it. None of it. It's all in my mind.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I shoot the match in my mind, or a set of stages. I'll memorize like 5 or 6 at a time. So you
Okay.
memorize, rehearse it essentially,
Okay.
and then just shoot it. And so in your mind, like sometimes I'll make mistakes in the match. Like I'll feel a transition's off, and then I either I send a makeup or I don't. It's a fun game. I
Wow.
know I know certain people like can't do that as well, like as far as imagining images in their mind. I think I obviously can do that pretty well, but I like it as a fun thing to do. Like I'll tune myself up for matches if I don't have one coming up, and I want to get ready for a major or something like that.
At what point in your shooting career did you get to the point where you could do that?
I think around 2020, I started doing that
So about
quite a
3
bit more.
years in?
Yeah, a couple of years in.
Okay. Was that just for your desire because of your desire to get better?
Yeah, and I wasn't shooting matches. I think it was leading up to like 2020 nationals where I didn't have a ton of matches to go to before that, and I wanted to feel more comfortable at the range as well. And so I picked a few matches at Frostproof, um, and memorized some of the stages.
And that was when I think you were 5th, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you were 5th. And that was your first nationals?
it was.
Okay, there. Boom. That was interesting. That was I shot that one. Um,
Yeah,
that was a good one at Frostproof.
it was a good match.
It was.
A really
That was
good
a
match. I
fun
mean,
match.
a lot of movers on stages. Uh, a really good match. One of the best nationals for sure that I've shot.
I'm
I
trying.
mean,
I
as far
think
as like what I think about the stages.
right. I think that was the one where the stage 19 at the end of the road, where it was really big and spread out.
Yeah, 35-yard shots
Yeah.
on one end,
Yep.
and then some like 25-yard stack partials. Big stage, cool
Yeah,
stage.
that was probably maybe what 170-degree bay,
Yeah,
from far left to far right target.
yeah. They have berms surrounding most of that bay, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Yeah,
So I mean, there were three berms, so that wasn't the issue. It was just back that big long backwards movement of about what 15 yards, and then
yeah.
you had targets out to the right, back to the left. That was a good stage.
Really good stage. A lot of those stages too had, I don't know. There was really cool activator sequences. There was that bobber between the hardcover hole. Um,
Was that the one too where it had that one? Man, it was a burner where your gun was unloaded on that lectern,
it was one of
and
those. Yeah,
yeah, and you had like two bobbers and some stationary, and it was all timing.
yeah. That was a fun stage.
That was a fun stage.
Yeah, a lot of those, a lot of memories from that. I mean, it helped that it was my first nationals or our first nationals,
Yeah.
that we
Hats off
remember
to
it.
Shannon Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, but great stage design.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's also, I mean, that stage with the bobber between or behind the hardcover with the hole had there
Yes.
was that was part of one of three movers on that stage. There was a swinger up front, there was a swinger to the right, and then you'd finish on that bobber.
Well,
Um,
my hat's off to you because you remember more of that stage than I did, but I definitely
I
remember that one.
I did win that stage, so partially that helps.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember it, and this might be the only reason I remember it is do you remember Leo?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the three of us shot together at that match,
Yep.
and Leo somehow misses the target, misses the entire steel, and shoots the cable. So now they
Mm.
have to repair the cable on the stage because he shot the cable.
I think they mentioned that
What
when
are
we
the
got to that
odds?
squad, the ROs were like, "And don't shoot the cable."
It's like it's almost an impossible shot because it's not a close shot either. That was
It
what
was
somewhere
back there
15, 20 yards.
for sure.
Yeah, and you had to shoot, and you had steel behind it, so you didn't know
You didn't know.
it. Right, you had paper in the middle, so when you shot, when you heard steel, you're like, was that the front steel or the back steel?
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a mind messer. It was a psychological trap.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I will never forget that. That he missed the entire every piece of steel and shot the cable. We're like,
it's
how do
impressive.
you even do that? Oh man, that was
But yeah,
funny.
great match. And then I think at
It
one
was.
nationals at Talladega, and those stages were good, if I remember. And then like a lot of the Cardinal stuff, I'm happy to not be there next year. I think those wood berm sides for stages kind of limit what they can do with it.
It
And you end
does,
up with a lot of
unfortunately.
stages that are just really similar. So I'll
Yeah.
be happy to get out of there.
And now have you been to Southern Utah?
No,
Okay.
no,
That's
but the
a
range looks amazing. Looks really nice.
it is, yeah, I guess.
I think they did a
Very,
lot of work. The berms look really
very
tidy.
dusty.
Yes.
Oh, I will say the bays are impeccable,
Yeah.
but lots of gravel, lots of dust. I do like the setup. So I was there in December for PCSL Nationals, and there were multiple food trucks, which I liked. There was a
That's
coffee
cool.
truck there because I'm a big coffee person. Um, Food, that, and there was a big building, a couple of buildings there as well. I mean, I did like the setup, plenty of parking for everybody. So I did, it is a nice setup. It should be a nice place for carry optics nats, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, handgun nats, factory gun, whatever it is.
It's
It's carry
perioptics.
optics.
Perioptics
Yeah,
nationals.
absolutely. It's going to be limited optics nationals and then carry optics nationals.
Yes, it will be. Those are
Uh,
the divisions that will matter more going forward. I mean, as far as like who wins them,
yeah,
like
100%.
winning those matches in the future. We'll see with limited optics on like how many top people end up shooting them. Um, I imagine enough will, but for sure, carry optics is still going to be like if you win that, it means a lot.
Right. Yes. Now, what it will be interesting because when I talked to Mason, he said he's going to be shooting some limited optics here.
Yeah, and carry optics. I mean, like
Right.
either or whichever.
But it'll be interesting to me. I wonder if he's going to make the move away from production and limited to optics.
I mean, I
So
hope he
he,
does.
I'm sure you do. So that would be interesting. That actually creates a vacuum in production and limited somewhat.
Yeah, people should just go and shoot carry optics. Just leave it empty. Leave
Just leave it empty, huh?
it can be a vacuum just sucking air. It's fine.
Wow. So you are no friend of production, I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, I want everybody competing in the same division or as close to that as possible. So everybody should come over and shoot uh, either carry optics or limited optics.
Well, and for is it factory? I can never remember. They keep changing it. So it's factory gun.
Yeah.
So for factory gun, the nice thing is that, like Christian, probably a few others that shoot open will probably shoot carry optics. So
Yes.
you'll get those. So you'll get that influx
We
of
don't
other
get
shooters.
people, yeah, pulled like limited optics will they'll be pulled into open or whatever. Um,
Right.
which I hope for limited optics that it pulls everyone from open. Where you just have limited optics.
I don't know if you will because I
Yeah, I
think
don't
those
know either.
people who they're very dedicated to that and they've invested a lot of money in that
Yeah.
as well. But I could see where all of your carry optics guys and your production and limited guys shoot limited optics at that nationals, race gun nationals.
Yeah.
I could see that. So you'd probably still get some swelling. Would you ever consider shooting a race gun nationals in limited optics?
I mean, I would, but as far as like the next 4 years, it's pretty. Things are laid out as far as qualifying for world shoot teams, and so there, I'm automatically going to two nationals in a year, and so I'm going to a third one isn't really practical.
But what about like 2028? Or I'm sorry, 2029. Well, no, then you'd have World Shoot.
Yeah, I mean, like if timing is worked out, I mean, so that's where a June nationals maybe that would be fine, and then if there's a couple in the fall, but again, you're still going to two, and nationals are they're you've got to be gone for 5 days anyway.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a year where maybe you didn't shoot IPSC Nationals and you shot limited optics instead. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only year that would be 2028, I suppose.
Right. If you
It's not
were
a
already
qualifying year.
qualified. Yeah.
Or 2029.
29. Right. That would not be a qualifying year.
Yeah. Uh,
But again, you still have World Shoot that year. So you may only do the
yeah.
one Nationals. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you're
we're
back to
world
that.
going away for world shoots a big commitment of time, so you don't want to
And
fill up the
money.
rest of your year
Yeah.
with and money, yeah, with going to matches that, I mean, I'd love to go to all the nationals that I could, but at the same time, I travel's hard. It's hard uh on everything. And
Yes.
so I don't necessarily want to.
Now, did your family go with you?
No, no.
Okay.
But when we were there, I mean, everything it was kind of like, oh, they should have come along because it would have been great. We were all talking about that at the place we stayed. That we all could have brought our families in, would have been amazing.
Oh, wow. So what did you do? So World Shoot being different, like we talked about, there's 4 different schedules throughout the day with people shooting. When you weren't shooting, what were you doing?
I just hung out. There was a pool at the hunting lodge area, and so I like swam a little bit, laid out in the sun. We actually could shoot there, so we shot into a dirt pile. It was the most amazing location ever.
Did you wake up every morning with the wildlife nearby?
Yeah, most of the time. A lot. I mean, again, a lot of birds too, but yeah, you could look out and uh, see wildlife right around.
All the
It's
stuff
really
you were
cool.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try any food that you didn't think you would have tried, or was there anything that stood out there? You're like, man, that was
Oh,
really good.
so we were staying with the guys from the Hit Factor podcast, and I think Jeremy Reed shot an Impala, and we
Okay.
had Impala backstrap like that
So he
night.
shot a Chevrolet Impala. Okay.
Yes. And that backstrap was so good. Uh,
Really? How did they prepare it?
I think it was just like quickly marinated in something, and then it was thrown on a grill.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't know if
and
maybe they sauteed it or grilled it or what.
yeah, we grilled it, or I forget. I don't know. Jeremy and Bob did some grilling one of the nights too, from stuff that they had shot. Uh, and so I ate way more meat than I eat normally, and that was good. No regrets. Though I did have like too much meat. You got meat sweats, and I'm not acclimated to the meat volume, so I had to
Oh,
back
that
off a little bit.
is funny. So what were they borrowing someone's rifles to do this, or were they just
Yeah.
using their
No,
IPSC
so I mean it's
gear?
a hunting lodge, and so it was a little bit out of season. But Jeremy and Bob uh, provided meat for us to eat. uh,
Okay.
yeah, a couple impala and then a kudu, which are really cool animals. They got like spiraled horns,
Oh, right,
uh,
right.
and
How tasty was that?
also very good. I still like the impala backstrap.
Okay.
Still my favorite, but everything was really good.
Anything else? So we've had kudu and impala.
That's what's coming to my mind right off.
Okay. What kind of sides do they serve in South Africa?
I mean, all the normal stuff. Like there were salads and Everything's just like a little bit different, but the same. Uh, I don't know, nothing super crazy.
Different but the same.
Different but the
Okay.
same. Like you recognizable, but tastes a little bit different. I mean, their beef jerky, which is biltong, there is
Right.
really good. More meat, huge amount of meat.
Is it chewier or softer? What's the
It's
or is
just
it or is
better
it the
in
same but different?
it's that in for example is way better than beef jerky here. It's
Oh,
just
really?
so much better. Um,
Ooh.
like it doesn't have any. I don't know. It doesn't. It tastes like it should, and some beef jerky here just tastes like not right.
Well, some of it tastes like cardboard.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do they
But
have like I eat everything spicy. So do they have like spicy biltong?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think the biltong industry there is just very vast. So much of it.
All right. Would you travel back there for a vacation?
Oh,
Is that the
definitely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I that lodge that we stay at, I follow them on Instagram and they post up their stuff and I always think like, "Oh wow, it would be so cool to go back there with the family or go back there and shoot a match at the same time." Uh but realistically that's only kind of a trip that you can do every few years if you were committed.
Right.
Um
So the next one's in Italy. Do you think you'll take your family to that one?
yeah, that's the current plan. I
Okay.
think logistically it's again nothing's ever super easy, but that would be ideal.
Well, and your kids will be 4 years older, so
Yeah,
they will be less work technically. You know what I mean?
technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always technically, trust me. I mean, we traveled with our kids just from Northern Virginia to Texas, but they were, like 15, 16 years old. They were
Mm.
all guys. So it was like, okay, you guys can carry your own luggage. You can do your own, you've got to hang around with us, but we don't have to look over our shoulder going, where's our 7-year-old? Where'd they disappear to?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
yeah, it's different stuff. I mean, I'm sure I am reminded that there are different challenges all the time with parenting, and they always change, and it's
Yes.
never what you were expecting. But yeah, they're trying to keep track of the 4 or 5 year olds running around is
Yeah.
interesting. We were in Florida. We went to the zoo, and they had a great time there. But it was a lot of like, where are you going?
Right.
Come back over here.
Yeah. And as a parent, you're always like, where'd they go? Where'd they go?
Yeah, yeah.
I, I saw, I don't even know how it came up. I don't remember must have been Instagram. I don't know. Something weird just in my feed was this. Oh, I know what it was. It was like one of those concealed carry type training Instagram pages. And for whatever reason, they were showing a guy who body slammed like a full grown adult male, body slamming like a 5-year-old kid.
Oof.
He literally, they were at an airport. He literally picked him up, swung him like a baton, and slammed him down on the pavement. Oh my God, dude. Immediately I was like infuriated. Like I wanted to murder this guy. If I could crawl into the phone, I would have just murdered him. I would have inflicted as much pain on him as I could have. And then I read the notes and it's like, oh, the kid only had skull fractures and vertebral spinal injuries. I'm like, oh my God, he needs to die a horrible death. The adult.
Yes.
But I was like, that's the kind of stuff that flashed through my head. I was like, that's why as a parent, you're paranoid because there are people like that are out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I carry a pocket knife. I will still stab you to death if I have to. You act stupid. Sorry, my aggressive side's coming out. But I mean, I only bring that up because as a parent, I went through that stage too. Your kids are young, so you're like constantly hawking over them, like, where are they at? Do I have any people around here that are acting funny that I need to maybe go
Yeah,
cut their
a
throat
lot to pay
or
attention
whatever?
to, which
Yeah.
is exhausting, but it's like
Yes,
you have to do that.
you do
Uh,
have to do that.
and then and obviously when they're babies, that's a whole different thing. And then when they get older, like I'm not there yet, but there's it evolves.
Yeah. That's where, when we traveled to Texas, they were, I think my oldest was 16 or 17, and the other two were 2 years younger. So they were all at that point where I didn't have to worry about some adult male coming over and grabbing them and flipping them around, because they
Yeah.
were all, by then, my two sons were my height or taller.
Yeah.
So traveling with that was like, had we gone overseas, it would have, there's other things you worry about. That's not it.
Yeah.
So, well, Jay, I do appreciate you coming back on.
Of course. Thank you for having me back on. It's always
Always
nice to be asked back on podcasts. It's an
Oh,
honor.
yeah. There are certain people I want to have on, and I'm like, nope, you don't want to. Number one, you don't want to wear out the welcome, and number two, you don't want the audience going, didn't we just hear this guy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to wear that out either. But it's like, oh, so that's why when I run into a match or something, I'm like, I try to catch up because I'm like, didn't get a chance to talk to you on the podcast or whatever.
I know. Podcasts are a great way to. I feel like whenever I have conversations with people, I'm like, we should just have recorded that. That would have been good.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, thank you, Dave. Thank you,
You're
everyone
welcome.
listening.
Enjoy the snow.
Come find me on the Hit Factor podcast sometime. Maybe.
There you go. Check them out. All right, Jay. You be safe.
Thanks, Dave.